news for him. I'd kept my mouth shut. Rabbits were more likely than rats out here, but if the place had been built properly, a hungry rodent or two wouldn't have been a problem. Besides, this late in the season I was feeling the pinch, and the folks who stayed at the Pines could pay. "Will you be around later today?" That was all I asked. I'd learn more about what was going on by checking it out myself than through anything Ronnie could tell me. Beauville men tended to fall into one of two camps: smart and shifty, like Max, my ex, or big and dumb, like his buddies Vince and Earl, who both tended to think with their fists. My father had been the former. From him I get my brains, as well as my taste for bourbon. Ronnie was the latter, as was his buddy Albert, although both were too lazy or too stupid to get in much trouble, but also unlikely to think through a problem by themselves, which was good in that it meant more work for me. Yeah, there was a reason I was with Jim Creighton. Not too late?" Of course, Ronnie and Albert were drinking buddies, too. "Before happy hour." I hung up and turned around, quickly enough to watch Albert blush and sputter. It might not yet be spring, and my jeans were nowhere near as tight as that ski bunny's, but Albert is a simple animal. Not that I cared about his response. "Frank here?" I eyed Albert's down vest, which would be part of his wardrobe until July. I didn't see him when I came in.
"Oh, yeah."
He looked relieved that I'd asked a question he could answer.
"He's here."
A fumble with his desk drawers and the masked triangular head of a ferret popped up. Frank, nominally Albert's pet, reached two pale paws up to the desktop and began furiously sniffing the air.
"What's up? Where's it hidden? Who's there?"
The pink nose twitched as the curious little beast caught up on the news. "Have you been keeping him locked up in there?" As I turned on Albert, I tried to query the poor ferret. "Has he?" I asked silently, visualizing Albert locking the small creature away in the metal desk. It didn't help my temper.
"No sense in fighting."
The ferret fixed his black eyes on me, his advice forming into words in my head.
"None at all."
"What? No."
Albert pushed his chair back, as if afraid I would lunge. It wasn't a bad reaction on his part, and for a moment I was distracted. It's good to know I can inspire fear.
He's been acting weird lately. Kind of frisky."
That turned my attention back to Frank, who by now had climbed to the desktop, and the strong sense I was getting from him. A feeling I could only translate as make love, not war. "Well, spring is in the air," I said out loud as another thought hit me. "Frank's not neutered, is he?"
I don't know."
The round patches of cheek visible above the beard turned scarlet as Albert turned away.
"He maybe at the shelter."
Got it. I hadn't known how the fat animal control officer and his sleek pet had first hooked up. There was no point in beating up on Albert, though. I do try to be gentle with dumb animals, and so I knelt in front of the desk. In the guise of making nice with a cute pet, I'd have a chance to greet the only other intelligent creature in the room. "What's up, Frank?" I held out my hand for him to sniff, a move as polite as it was wise. Frank's sharp nose and even sharper eyes had frequently provided insight into my life.
Dog, that cat again."
His busy nose trembled over my fingers. I'd started my day with my usual dog-walking gigs, but underneath it all, I had no doubt the ferret was picking up the scent of Wallace, the tabby who shares my life.
Wait, a bunny?"
That one surprised me, and I could feel the smile starting. It didn't matter. Albert would think I was amused by his pet. In truth, I was impressed. I hadn't noticed any rabbits this morning. But before I'd gone out to meet Growler, the Bichon with whom I had a standing date, I had made a lame attempt at dismantling the snowbank beside my front porch. It was shrinking, but not quickly enough, and the forsythia peeking through was looking bent and battered. What remained had melted and refrozen often enough to be nearly solid.